From average Joes to award-winning athletes and actors, mental health has been put at the forefront of our mindsets in this past couple years. Let's talk about why. Welcome back to channel everyone. I'm Michael, and here we keep everything simple in life and in business. Mental health is crucial and very important, and through these past couple years and this pandemic, that has been highlighted even more throughout our daily lives. Let's check some news and talk about why. And before we dive into that, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I post new videos every single Friday, and you guys subscribing helps me out so much, and I greatly appreciate it. And if you'd also check out that like button down there and turn that blue, I'll give you a virtual high five. I'll give it a second. All right, let's get started. If you're a fan of Marvel, you've likely seen some articles going around that Tom Holland's looking to take a break from acting. December 15th of 2021, Tom Holland went on record in an interview to tell People magazines that I spent the last 6 years being so focused on my career, I want to take a break and focus on starting a family and figuring out what I want to do outside of this world. And in more recent news, it seems that this sentiment's also echoed within his Spider-Man predecessor, Andrew Garfield. Now, I know that they both play the same character and they have that brotherly bond and all that, but really? They both told People magazine that they were thinking about taking a break. So I guess birds of a feather, or in this case, spiders of a web, really do flock together. Andrew Garfield also in this past week, in an interview with People magazine, let us know he's looking forward to being just a person. And honestly, good on him. And honestly, I say good on both Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield for taking time to rest and reset after some very hectic and very busy years that they've had. On April 27th, Andrew Garfield reported that in taking this time away, he was very inspired by Simone Biles and her performance at the Olympics, prioritizing herself and her mental health above that goal and that grind that is so patented to the US. And similarly, he's also quoted saying that he really looks to Kendrick Lamar as well, who is taking time out of the spotlight before launching back into new work and new ventures. While the grind, the hustle, that push to go higher and higher is a very prevalent thought in America, I agree with Andrew Garfield that it's really inspiring actually and amazing to see individuals step away. And this is because they are someone who can really be on their own rhythm, bang to the beat of their own drum. Though my neighbors would complain if I played the drum, so I think I'm just gonna stick to the ukulele. So why is this? Why are these people that we look up to and admire, as well as others around the whole country, taking a step back to reevaluate their priorities, putting mental health, personal well-being, and personal fulfillment more at the forefront now really than ever? If you thought I had the answer, guess again. This is my thought, and for me, I believe it relates very strongly to a very popular psychology theory. For me, I believe it can be brought back to the very basic concepts of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now, a full analysis of this concept is a topic for another video on another day. A quick summary is in 1943, Abraham Maslow published a paper called A Theory on Human Motivation. For those of you who recognize this name and this theory, you're likely very familiar with the current image that tends to associate with it, with being a pyramid that has the individual levels described within his theory. And the different levels of needs from most primary to the apex are stated as such. We have physiological needs, the needs for food, shelter, sleep, clothing, then followed by the need for safety and security, knowing that those needs of food, sleep, and shelter will be met and secured in the future as well. Next up is social needs, so having a social group, so friends, families, knowing that humans as a whole are not solitary creatures. After that is esteem, the need for humans to feel acknowledged, appreciated, and seen by those that they love and others. And finally, we have self-actualization. Once prior needs are met, then individuals look inwards, look at what drives them, the whys, their dreams, their ambitions, and what they feel their purpose is, and work towards that fulfillment. Now, I'm not a professional psychologist. I personally understand the hierarchy of needs best in the context of business and helping others reach self-actualization with inspiring and motivational opportunities presented to them. Now, what's really fascinating about his theory of human motivation is that within Maslow's original publication of his theory, there was no image, no visual that was actively depicted alongside his thought. And even if this is what he felt was the basics of human motivation, not only are we social creatures, humans as a whole are very complex as well. And incidentally, even within this theory, Maslow recognized that for some people, needs may appear in different order or absent altogether. Moreover, people felt a mix of needs from different levels at any one time, but they varied in degree. In short, even with these levels, the theory itself could argue that this information is all presented along the idea of a spectrum, where you can feel one level just as much as you feel another, even if you have quote-unquote accomplished or met the needs of the prior level. Just because you conquer or meet the needs of one level, it does not mean the prior one would just disappear. It may take less mental energy to actively stay in your conscious because you have those needs met. But even as Maslow recognized, you can still feel all those other levels even if you reach the very tip top of that pyramid. Your goals will obviously change as you go throughout the different chapters of your life, and honestly, your self-actualization, or what you define that as, is subject to change as well. Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland are two fantastic actors who have done very well for themselves in their career and have pushed to have very successful ventures. And I don't doubt that acting will always be something that's very fulfilling for them. Yet, as we look at the rest of their lives, and as we look at even our own life, we can always see that there can be that shift in self-actualization. What do you define it as? And personally, I believe that's more than okay. In interviews, when asked what they would be doing if they weren't actually acting, they had some pretty fun answers, knowing Tom Holland, if he wasn't an actor, would be a teacher. Andrew Garfield, if he wasn't acting, he'd be possibly studying theology. And that's why I find it so interesting, knowing that you can find what you would deem as your purpose in this world, and know that with time, as you grow and develop, it can grow and develop right alongside you. And continuing on that trend of actors, it's even seen within Jim Carrey, who earlier this April said that he's looking at taking a break and or retiring from acting. In his interview, he even stated that this is something you might never hear another celebrity say for as long as time exists. I have enough. I've done enough. I am enough. If there is one thing that you take away from this video, I hope it's that sentiment exactly. You will go through different chapters in life. Your needs will be in flux, and what you define as self-actualization for yourself may also be in flux too. It'll develop and it'll grow. But at the end of the day, you just have to know that you as an individual are enough. As I mentioned earlier, Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a very popular psychological theory, and it's one that can pose some good questions for yourself as you go throughout your days and as you develop and figure out what you ultimately want to do. Whether you're an employee working right now in a job, you can see how these needs play out and where your needs are met, and how if one of those levels is not being accomplished or you feel unfulfilled, taking a step back and asking why that is. We're always going to have priorities, we're always going to have things that will require our attention, but then also, if your glass is never full, it's going to be very hard to assist those around you as you go throughout life. So I highly encourage you guys, take those steps back. Assess. See where you stand. Have you met your physiological needs? Have you met your safety needs, your social needs, esteem? Are you in self-actualization, or are you on the precipice of another change? These are all good questions that I highly encourage you all to ask yourself and explore as you go throughout these next couple years. But at the end of the day, I want you all to remember that you are enough. And with that said, guys, thank you all very much for taking your time out of your day to watch this video. I greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. If you liked this video and you found value in understanding what the hierarchy of needs is, give this video a thumbs up so I can know to make similar videos to this in the future as well. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at KES Studios. I post there pretty much daily. And keeping everything simple with life and business. I'll see you guys next time.